Well, another 1.5 billion for Captain Sweatpants Zelensky. Surprise! What the fuck? And also, Joe Biden says, hey, I may be white, but I'm not stupid. Oh, really?
And to get hot, I got hairy legs.
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this
And I love kids jumping on my lap.
is what's next. Jasper Gonzo, what's next? Your daily dose of common sense, facts, and salt. Hope you're having a happy Tuesday. Well, $113 billion. An amazing amount of money, spent on infrastructure and fixing the roads and bridges and helping the homeless and, of course, our homeless military and those in Ohio. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I've been corrected. That was for the proxy war in Ukraine to Captain Sweatpants. Yes, well, that wasn't enough. A blank check left on the dresser by Joe Dementia a week ago wasn't enough. No. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen swept into Kiev with another blank check of $1.25 billion. Yes, because it's always welcome. And also, we have dementia being dementia. Let's take a look. This comes out of the Gateway Pundit. What the Janet Yellen makes a surprise visit to Kiev to announce another $1.25 billion in aid to Ukraine because, of course, she did. And, of course, you can see Captain Sweatpants Zelensky is loving every minute of it. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen made a surprise visit to Kiev on Monday to reinforce U.S. support for Ukraine. An important meeting with the secretary. The United States has been powerfully supporting since the first days of the war, not only with weapons, but also with the financial front. And we really appreciate it. Of course you do, Ukraine. Of course you do. Joe Biden was just in Ukraine giving Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky a blank check just a week ago. Yes, he left it on the dresser after bending over and grabbing both ankles. But that wasn't enough. Yellen is now in Kiev to announce another transfer of $1.25 billion. Janet Yellen is also working to seize $300 billion in the Russian bank assets, supposedly frozen by sanctions, and transfer it to Ukraine to help rebuild the economy. But of course, I'm sure we'll match it. U.S. Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen swept into Kiev on Monday on a surprise visit to reaffirm U.S. support for Ukraine in its struggle against Russian invasion to promote U.S. economic aid and bolster Ukraine's war effort. Yellen met with President Volodymyr Zelensky and other key officials just days into the war in the second year, repeating U.S. assurances delivered by Joe Dementia just a week ago in Kiev. America will stand by with Ukraine as long as it takes, as long as your money and my money are involved, until we drain every single drop of U.S. money and give it to Ukraine, because it's all about the children. Yellen, flanked by sandbags, and of course the cabinet minister's office, told Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal, Shmyhal, speaking through an interpreter, I'm sure I'm butchering the name, but I don't really give two fucks, said that the two has discussed further U.S. sanctions on Russia aimed at weakening its economy and military and confiscating frozen assets and putting them into the benefit of the recovery of Ukraine. But Yellen told reporters in a phone briefing that there were still significant legal obstacles to fully seizing the $300 billion in Russia central bank assets frozen by sanctions. Yes, that would be Russia. Yellen also announced the transfer of the first $1.25 billion from the latest $9.9 billion in economic and budget assistance from Washington. Another $10 billion for this shit. But that's just me. We go from that stupidity to more stupidity. Biden says, I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid, at a Black History Month event. Yes, Joe going full dementia again. This coming from the New York Post. Washington. Joe Dementia told the White House audience, I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid, in a cringeworthy attempt at self-deprecating humor during an event celebrating, of course, the end of Black History Month. The 80-year-old made a bizarre remark moment after joking that House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, who is black, no longer talks to him. I may be a white boy, but I'm not stupid. I know where the power is. You think I'm joking. I learned a long time ago about the Divine Nine, Biden said, referring to a group of African-American fraternities and sororities. Yes, because he was a part of that sorority. Jeffries is here in spite of the fact that when he ran first time, I campaigned for him. I'm going to call bullshit on that. The president added before shouting to Congressional Black Caucus Chairman Stephen Horsford, I campaigned for him too. You know what that means? They don't talk to me anymore. Biden says, I'm only kidding. The oldest ever president in the history is making awkward remarks about racial issues. In 22, Dementia told students at historical black colleges in Atlanta that he was arrested during a civil rights protest for which he never was. In 2020, Biden sparked an outcry when he said African-American voters, you ain't black if you voted for Donald Trump. Yes. Months later, the Democratic candidate took heat for saying blacks were less diverse than Hispanics in terms of political thinking before asking a black journalist if he was a junkie. In the same interview, the reporter asked he had taken a cognitive test. Months later, then Democratic test saying, Biden also falsely claimed in 2020 that he had great honor in being arrested, trying to see Nelson Mandela on Robbins Island. He later admitted that, of course, that wasn't true. Of course, it was all bullshit, as it always is, and said he was thinking about separating during a congressional trip to Lefozo, though a Democratic colleague on a trip disputed that account as well. $1.25 billion to Ukraine. A part of a $9.9 billion aid package. I think at this point that 113 is going to be pushing 130 soon. But again, it shows the stupidity, the moronism, the assholery that is the dementia administration. Zelensky, boy band member, has to be having pictures in his possession with Yeltsin, dementia son, crackhead, in compromising positions. That's the only thing that can make any sense, that you can justify, you can rationalize this kind of stupidity and ignorance against the will of the American people. We've seen poll after poll after poll in larger and larger numbers that you have people in the U.S., us, U.S. citizens saying enough is enough. This shit needs to stop. You need to cut these motherfuckers off. McCarthy, Speaker McCarthy, are you listening? You need to cut them off. But sadly, it will go on deaf ears. It will fall on deaf ears. And of course, we go to Joe Dementia. Well, like I said in the beginning of the story, he's dementia for a reason. At the end of Black History Month, in front of the National Black Caucus, in front of a group of African Americans, you make a stupid comment, a cringe-worthy comment. Yes, we've seen others higher cringe, but still, nonetheless cringe. I may be stupid. I'm sorry, I may be white, but I'm not stupid. Yes, of course. Of course. You being white has nothing to do with being stupid. Your dementia has nothing to do with you being white. It's just you being you. And sadly, when you're 80 years old and you have no filter, stupid shit is going to fall out of your mouth just like this. And sadly, we got another year of this shit before, God willing, change is a-coming. I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.